We are back in Michigan, Brian Barczyk's facility.
I love when projects are like this, when so much is going on.
We are at the new place right now, which is going to be the aquarium.
The vision I had when I first started this is actually even better than I think. I love when projects are like this, when so much is going on. So basically what we have going on is Aquascape is going to show up tomorrow. All their CACs, their contractors are showing up. I think there's like 30 or 50 pond contractors showing up tomorrow. But today, Ed, the pond professor, a few other people have showed up to start kind of getting going on the trenching.
Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here. We are back in Michigan. Right over there, the Reptarium, Brian Barczyk's facility. We are at the new place right now, which is going to be the aquarium. We have an incredible team of CACs to help do the preparation. What we're doing is we're marking everything out. We're going to start cutting some of the asphalt up, and we have to peel up the asphalt, haul that stuff away, then we could lay everything out so we could do our actual construction. All the asphalt has been removed. We started bringing in some of the crushed material over here. That was a lot of base that was going along this one edge. This is going to give us a good solid structural foundation for us. This is going to be the start of our waterfall. All of our AquaBlox are going to be located here. This will be the pre-filter for the entire system. So we'll have our pump vaults. We will have some stacked slate spheres in this area as well. That's going to give us a little bit of elevation as well as visual interest to this far end of the feature. So there's always different types of challenges on a commercial feature like this. So these are structural columns that they had to install, which is holding up this large curtain wall, and this will all be glass. We are going to have to be conscious of all those different things, as well as our various bridge crossings. So several different things that we have to be working with here, but I do know for a fact we'll be able to make it all work once everything is said and done. The rocks that I've chosen for inside are going to be a weathered limestone, so they're going to be relatively thin rocks, but tall, which should allow us to go all the way from the bottom to the top in one rock. Beautiful weathered limestone came out of Missouri. So it just arrived this morning. This is going to be our first load. We do have another truckload. Plus we're going to have a mixture of river rock and cobblestones and everything else that we're going to need to pull this project off. But these are the main large ones. So our goal is to stage them all along this edge over here. We will also be using some of these large rocks to create our retaining wall. We're going to build a secondary retaining wall coming up on this side because this is going to be a glass wall. It's going to allow tons of light into the aquarium. This is going to be the front door right through this little section. So we'll have a bridge crossing. Our goal is to create some of that elevation change over here so as all the visitors come in, they could be greeted with the sight and sound of that beautiful waterfall. Dumpster has arrived. We are taking the asphalt that we dug out yesterday, loading that up so it could be hauled off site. We started setting some of our boulders, which is always a good thing. I was not really planning on setting these boulders right away. My original plan was to do pond work, but clearly that is not going to occur.
Great. That's great.
Because there are other contractors working in that spot. This is unfortunately the nature of a commercial water feature. They're going to be coming in also right behind us or here soon, so we are going to have to modify our schedule accordingly.
Come together good, and I love the way this front entrance is turning out. I mean, look at how impressive that is. I just think, you know, when you walk up and you see this pond, you see this big entrance, you know, you're gonna have aquarium and reptile zoo right above the doors right here. These are the doors here. Windows all the way along here. I mean, it's gonna be absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the vision I had when I first started this is actually even better than I think.
So we have the outside edge done with all of our large boulders over here, which is setting the edge right off of the parking lot. Then dug a trench in between the boulders and the front of the building. This face of this wall will be visible from inside the building. You're going to have transparency, so the face of that needs to be decorative. So we're working on this structural wall, which is going to go between the glass facade of the building and the waterfall area. So the other thing we want to make sure of is they have access in here for the installation process as well as long-term maintenance. So we don't want to block everybody in. It's going to leave us not with a ton of room for our waterfall, but remember, we are working with universal rock so we could have some of that stuff custom made to fit this actual space. Kurt, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the wall and this geogrid.
With the retaining wall, because of the height that we're going and the fact that there's glass back here, we want to engineer the wall a little bit. We lay the geogrid in here so that it ties the wall back into the existing landscape or back to the existing soil. And then it uses the weight of everything that's on top of it in order to hold this wall from blowing out in this direction, because that's the tendency with moisture and soil and things like that, freeze-thaw cycles, is to push on the wall in this way. It's not as big a concern that happens, but it can.
Excavation is complete. Our next step is to come in here with our heavy duty fabric as well as our rubber membrane and another layer of the heavy duty fabric on top of everything. We're going to start doing our rock work. What I love about this long meandering deep stream system is we have two bridge systems that are going over it. One allowing people to go into the building, the other allowing them to leave. We want to pick up different views from different areas. The main one coming in is actually right next to me where I'm standing here. We're going to be looking up towards the main waterfall. We're going to have the sight, the sound, the crashing water, and it's all going to be kind of twisting its way through this entire stream system. And what we're going to try to do is where we have these peninsulas coming out, I'm going to accentuate them. I'm going to come out with more rock work to really get that water twisting and turning to give it that riverine type of an appearance, which is exactly what this facility needs. Milestone right now on our project. Dirt's getting moved out, which is great. Since they moved out yet, we're shuffling it. We're slowly taking loads off site to get rid of it, just because we don't have any place here on the site to utilize it. Normally I like to site balance everything, but it's not the case here. There's a lot of concrete, there's junk and stuff like that inside of it. Makes it a little bit difficult to work with. I am standing inside the intake bay. This is going to be the point of all of the pumps. We have the rubber lining in place as well as our heavy duty fabric. We have heavy duty fabric below the liner as well as on top to create the necessary cushioning because of all the big boulders that we have being installed inside of the stream system. From here, the water is going to get pumped into multiple areas going all the way up the stream. We have a filtration system located still inside of the stream system, but then the rest of the water is going to go all the way to the very top where we have some decorative waterfalls. Our goal is to create a lot of water. We want to have a place for people to come in, take pictures, engage with the fish, and have an aquatic experience before they actually get inside the aquarium. We're going to drop that log in. We created that little pocket over there. It's going to help hide up all those different valves that's splitting the water in between the wetland as well as the jets. It's going to kind of push the water this way, just like in nature. You've heard me talk about this 1,000 times, mimicking nature, biomimicry concepts. The root's going to dive down into the water and it's going to back the water up a little bit. It's going to kind of create some currents and a little bit of movement, which is what we're trying to replicate here. So I think it's going to be a really cool effect to keep that big stump as far to that pillar as possible. Thanks to Kurt for finding this incredible piece. Standing inside the wetland filtration system. This is where all the water is going to be coming from the intake bay. So we have a pump dedicated to send water into the filtration. Remember how this stuff works. We have high velocity water coming down to the bottom. The water then flows through our centipede system. That is our clean out, which is our snorkel vault. The water then spreads itself out nice and evenly. Otherwise it doesn't function the same. This also becomes this sedimentation trap, which is very important when we start talking about having lots of fish and big animals and things like that. We will fill the rest of this up with different grades of river rock, which will become the biological filter. You can see I have this little valve system over here. We have one pump dedicated to this. The pump that we have is actually overcompensating. We don't need that much water going into the filter. So what we're doing is we're splitting it. We'll have a ball valve on it. So now we can send 1,000 or so gallons per hour down into the bottom for the filtration. The rest of the water is going to go through the other valve. We'll open up that one all the way, and that's going to allow a jet of water to push out. That way we're maximizing the pump. We just dropped in this beautiful stump. Kurt really set us up really nicely with this one. So this is gonna look like a tree along a natural wetland area. This is exactly the look that we're going for. We have a beautiful piece created by Universal Rock, who is also doing all of the stonework inside the aquarium. So it's just gonna help tie everything together. Stuart was able to do a tall waterfall for us, but it's gonna be able to fit in a very tight space, which is exactly what we needed because we have a very small area up on top. By doing the fake rock work, it's allowing us to go up an additional 5.5 feet above our existing waterfall. So that's gonna really create a dramatic entryway for this amazing water feature. All right, the cavalry has arrived. We've been working away on the prep work for this project with a small team of us. Now, the rest of the team of CAC is coming in from around the country to help out Brian Barczyk as well as Legacy Aquarium. So I think this is gonna be an incredible event. With this incredible team we have, we're gonna be able to complete this water feature in the next day and a half. For more information on Brian Barczyk, check out this other video that I did with him. It was an incredible project.